Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Today, I have a story with Keri Lewis, Toni Braxton's ex-husband, and he's responding to the singer's tea spilling session on Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. Braxton, which you all know is now engaged to Birdman, revealed that there was a time she was angry about having to pay her ex alimony. She says she went through this phase of men are the new bitches. That's how she felt. That's what she was angry about, she said. She also believed their breakup was over money and her lupus diagnosis. Remember in the last podcast, I stated that she said she felt shallow because her ex and her broke up for money issues. She says, I found out I had lupus at the time. I couldn't make money because I had lupus. I had to cancel the show. She said that was my personal contribution to the marriage failing, because who wants to take care of a person who's sick all the time? She says, I remember a few times being in the hospital ill, and he would come later in the day and I would think he's not coming because I'm sick. He says, in light of my ex-wife at Toni Braxton comments on Red Table Talk regarding our divorce, men receiving alimony from women, I feel the need to address and shed light on the matter, as the impression is being made that I came for her finances and or wasn't there for her. He says, let me start by saying that I really love Toni. And anyone who was around during the time of our marriage would attest to that. In addition, when she became ill, I did everything I could to take care of her. And we tried for a long time to put things back together, but in the end, we could not. He says, to give insight on the alimony payments, Toni's attorneys suggested she have a prenuptial agreement put in place prior to our wedding, and they drafted one as they saw fit. Because of my love for her and being optimistic of marriage lasting forever, I didn't feel the need to have an attorney, as I wasn't going to contest anything in the prenup. Fast forward to 2012, after separating, I moved out, and at some point later, Toni mentioned to me that the payments set in the prenup would start being deposited into my account. I received alimony for about 3 years between 2012 and 2014. He says, now, intentionally or not, Toni's comments have left people with the feeling that we had some sort of legal battle that resulted in her having to pay alimony, and therefore share the likes of at Halle Berry, at the real Mary J. Blige, and at Britney Spears. With all due respect, I don't see our situation in the same light. I didn't even use an attorney in our divorce. And in parentheses, he says, I also don't recommend that to anyone. In addition, while I often did not agree with the creative liberties that were taken in representing our relationship, Toni's book, Lifetime movie, Braxton Family Values, Red Table Talk, he says we are raising 2 sons, and it can never be to the degree of her referencing me as a bitch. He says that's the problem. I'm definitely open for the discussion on women paying alimony to men and vice versa, as I do have mixed feelings about it. And at the end of the day, every situation is different. Okay, I am glad that Keri told his side of everything. It's always good to get both sides. I really didn't expect him to come back, and address everything, but that's good that he did. However, he stated that it was in the prenup, but just because it's in the prenup, that didn't make that didn't say he had to take it. She still had lupus. Um, she still, it was still a possibility that the lupus, she would have an episode and would have to miss a show. So he still took it. If evidently he needed it, or he wouldn't have taken it, but, he is still, to me, uh, I don't want to say the word she said, but I just think is trifling. Even if he did take it, he could have put it away for the boys. I'm going to go on and take it. And he didn't say that he did that. And I think that would have been one of the first statements that he said, in this reply on social media. He would have said, okay, I did take the alimony, but, I saved it and put it aside for the boys' education. But he did not do that, which leads me to believe he was spending it. And, he's making light of it, not really light of it, but he's playing it down because he said it was only for a few years. Now I know Toni, she has some lavish lifestyle choices, but that's her money. She can do what she wants. Frankly, me, if I had lupus and it was all depending, my money was all depending on me having to do my shows and concerts and tours, I think I would have done things a little differently, but still, that's her money. And me and no one else got the right to put, tell her what she can do and can't do with her money. I do remember when she went bankrupt years ago and she was a guest on Oprah Winfrey. Oprah shaded her to the point that, okay, Tamar was in the audience and Oprah shamed her for filing bankrupt, not directly, but indirectly. And she mentioned that Toni had bought some flatware, some silverware. And I want to say the silverware was Gucci. It was one of those name brands. I don't remember, but let's say it was from Gucci. Oprah tells Toni, I didn't even know that Gucci had silverware. But I don't remember the whole conversation on Oprah's show, but it was obvious that Oprah was shaming her for bankruptcy. Okay, and we all know that there's many people who has filed bankrupt and has recovered. And like I said, I would do things different if I was Toni, with the lupus, knowing I had lupus, but, that's Toni. Mike Tyson, 50 Cent, these are people who have went bankrupt. Francis Ford Coppola, Marvin Gaye, Kim Basinger, Meatloaf, Cyndi Lauper, MC Hammer, Larry King, Terrell Owens, the NFL football player, that was very public with him, and also MC Hammer. And the list goes on and on. Even 45, President Trump, I think he filed 2 times, the same as Toni. But anyway, it was, and even this particular article and some of the comments, there's a couple of people that mentioned her bankrupt. Okay, I don't think she should be shamed for that. If you want to shame somebody who is in the Oval Office, supposed to be the head of this country, who have declared bankruptcy 2 times. So let's go on. Okay, in that article, it was said that, in the comments, it was said that Keri helped her with things when she had a bankruptcy. Okay. They were still friends, although they were not together. And friends will do that, especially if you and that friend got two boys together. So I don't see that as being like he did something that a friend or ex, well, I can't see too many exes would do that for you, but being friends and sharing and co-parenting, like when you're co-parenting, if the mama's not good, the kid's not good. The custodial parent sets the tone for the household. So if she filed bankrupt and he helped her, that just, he was just being a good friend, and a very good friend. But I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I think Toni would have did that for him too, because they did not have a relationship like Mary J. They did not have a relationship like Britney Spears, and they did not have a relationship like many other divorcees have, where they're back and forth and in and out of court. They didn't have that type of relationship. So I think that, he's just he's in his feelings right now, because people have probably said something to him, and he's responding to this, which that's his right to respond to it. So I'm going to leave the link in the description area, just in case you want to reread it. But I basically, gave a lot of what was in the article. I still say that giving alimony to a man is unless he's sick or disabled, is bull. I would go as far as to say, in most cases, it's bull to give the woman alimony, because, and if you do, and if that happens, I think that woman or that man in either case have to prove that they're gainfully employed. Not so much alimony, but child support, because I'm not sure about child support in Keri's case. I'm not sure about that. I think I heard on one source I was reading that he was giving her money for child support. I don't know, because you give him alimony, he give you child support. That's like I don't it's like it depends on the amount, I guess, but it's like giving the money back that she gave you. So I don't know about that. Also, let's switch gears for a little bit. Sherri Shepherd. Sherri Shepherd is paying alimony to both of her husbands. I'm just going to say a little bit about this. Child support to her first husband, because they have a child together. I think his name is Jeffrey. And if I'm not mistaken, he's between 12 and 13. I can't remember. But she's also paying child support to the husband. They just got divorced not too long ago. And this child is not even hers. This child it was from a surrogate. They did not use her eggs. They did use her husband's sperm. So she's paying child support on a child that's not hers. And she did adopt the child. And because they were married, and she's the legal mother, if her name's on the birth certificate. But she seemed to be, not so mad about that. because, she's taken the high road as far as saying, the child did not ask to come here. And, she was a part of all that process. But I